All right, we're back to the No Name podcast. And with that being said, you said you were looking up for podcast names and you're like, what was it? The most hated word in, or the most
The most triggering
most triggering word in.
real estate agents.
Okay, we're gonna give a 3 second pause because I want everybody while they're driving, working out to think about what it is because you made me think about it. I think I said crash.
Yeah, crash.
I said crash. I think
So
everybody's got it in their mind. What is it?
so I went into Chat GPT because I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about names for the podcast. So I'm like, what's the most? I said, well, one, I was like, what is a word that like stimulates thinking for real estate agents? And then like it gave me this dumb list. Then I wrote in there, what is the most triggering word in real estate? And it said that the most triggering word in real estate is Zestimate. And then it like
Okay.
gave this whole entire analysis of why it was a triggering.
Why was it according to ChatGPT?
Like the number one reason was because it said based on the history of the Zestimate, they gave people a false valuation of what their house was worth. So people would tell agents that their house is worth way more than what it was. Because remember, the Zestimate always used to be way off. And now, like, I even think like on the Zillow's estimate, it says like how accurate, the Zestimate is. And it'll say like, if you're in 83616, 95% of the houses sold within 1 to 2% of this estimate. If within 6 miles, 6 to 10 miles, the house is sold for 2 to 5% of this estimate. So it's always building the data and the algorithm. And when they started,
How does it get better? Just more data?
just yeah, more data and algorithms and things like that. And them buying the houses, obviously, when they did the whole buy now, like on the Zestimate, that
Right.
like put them in check big time. But we both watched the video or the podcast of the Zillow, how I made my billions or whatever. And you watched the one with Zillow guy, right? How when they talked about when they put when they built Zillow up in Seattle, they were just like putting the flyers on the car windows saying, do you
Oh
want to
yeah,
know how
yeah,
much
yeah.
your house is worth? Whatever. And then they were like announcing the release of the Zestimate. And they said that they built Zillow to give everyone transparency of what their house was worth because the only place you could find it was on MLS.
Hmm.
And then they rolled out the Zestimate, and then their system crashed. But they claimed that it crashed because they had so many users come into the system, which they use as like a ploy to say that the system like blew up overnight. And it wasn't that. Somehow the system just fell down. And so they used it like as a marketing ploy to say that like so many people hit the system, but then it did. They just started getting users galore. And it was the first time in history people had a true transparent value into their house.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna touch on some subjects today. I even got some questions I keep getting about like scaling your real estate business. We'll continue on some of that, but like my curiosity, and I like to play almost the role. I'm more of like an average citizen than I'm a real estate agent because I do such little. But when I heard that dude talk about creating Zillow, I was like, this dude's awesome. He
Yeah.
he literally had no, it was just I wanted to buy a house and there was no way to find it. Like I just felt like I was strongholded by the real estate agents and it was bullshit. And this is the dude, I don't know if a lot of people knew it because he's like, I started Glassdoor, same thing. Like people could
Yep.
see what jobs are available and how much they
Travelocity.
make. Travelocity. So you could actually see the prices of how the dude's
Travel.
pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think the turn was too that they got the bad rap from agents? Did they like just like undercutting them or like was it
No,
agents being fearful that they lost?
no, no. The anger comes from, well, the anger is like multi-layered because one, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that goes into this, but I'd say from the Zestimate side, it's just giving consumers a bad idea of what their house was worth, right?
Yeah.
And even still to this day. So let's just say your house is on a main road next to train tracks, and Zillow says your house is worth 400. Well, it's not taken into consideration. Your house is on the main road and
Yeah.
next to train tracks, right?
Hmm.
So it's a good for a general use. But what really I think made a lot of agents mad, and is that you probably don't even remember this because I don't think you were in real estate at the time. So our MLS never syndicated with Zillow. So you had to plug in your listing into a syndication tool and then it's syndicated out to Zillow. So the MLSs were basically not working in conjunction with Zillow, but then Zillow just started paying the MLSs to get their data feeds.
Mm.
So then they were getting the data from the MLSs directly into Zillow, and then Zillow was turning around and selling the leads that the agents were generating right back to them. So what happened was, all remember when I was telling you about like sign calls?
Yeah. Yep.
And I told you, I said, dude, I used to get sign calls all the time.
Right.
Well, when the internet leads came out, the sign calls basically went away because now people feel it's a lot easier to go onto an app like Zillow or Redfin, pull up the listing, they click on it, and the next thing it's like, do you want to talk to an agent? Well,
Right.
they think they're talking to the listing agent, so they click the button, and the next thing you know, it's a Zillow agent. So agents felt like, they're generating the lead, putting the listing up, and now they have to buy their own leads back that they're getting, uh, quote unquote, taken from these by Zillow.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Zillow is the, 80-pound gorilla or 800-pound gorilla in the room. And they used to drive almost all of the internet web traffic. They've significantly slowed down. And now you have homes.com coming straight at their throat, which is owned by CoStar. And they're just coming hard.
yeah, and we have been reached out multiple of our YouTube markets to like because they want video now. They
Yeah.
like that's
Well, they reach out because they see that we're on YouTube, so they want to interview the agent. But so when they make the video, like they do the interview, they ask, is this area worth videoing? Because they're trying to, yes, also incorporate like little videos and pictures from around the country. They said they outsourced like 100,000 photographers and videographers to add onto their website. And I told them, I said, you guys would be better off just sponsoring a channel, like a business like ours, where you could just embed these videos. But I don't think they want any like branding from an agent on their
right.
sites. Like when they do the articles, it does say from Jesse Dow, real estate agent in Portland, Oregon.
I didn't know we were going here, but now this is me on the phone with you. I get this curious. Why why does homes.com want to fight with a Zillow? I feel like Zillow's like the
Oh,
big dog.
well, because in the residential space, Zillow is the big dog, but in the commercial space, CoStar is the big dog, LoopNet, and they're the dominant force. So CoStar looks at homes.com as their way into residential space. And realtor.com has always claimed that they have all the share in the space. And now you'll even see in the real estate publications, there's this rivalry going now between homes.com and realtor.com. And realtor.com owns all these other entities as well. And they'll homes.com says that realtor.com is putting all of the traffic from all like 20 of their websites into the one metric. And homes.com keeps calling them out saying, why don't you show us what realtor.com alone is driving? And they won't do it. So CoStar is just like, all right, homes.com is our way into the residential space.
Hmm.
And quite honestly, I almost see this. I could almost see CoStar. They looked for a residential company to buy, which homes.com was the one. But I almost see like a merger coming between CoStar and like Redfin or Zillow even.
Why?
But you also saw Zillow partner up with Open Door,
Right.
right when they got that SEC violation. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to
But Open
see,
Door
but
is a buy your house model, right?
yeah.
But when
But
did they
Zillow
merge?
tried it
Did
with
they
this
merge before their we buy houses through Zillow or after they got their ass kicked?
after they got their ass kicked, but
Why
they
would
didn't
they?
merge.
Why? I don't get that. Why would you merge with something that you just got your ass kicked with another company that does the same thing?
That's the $1 million question. I think because Open Door's model was that Zillow's model was something different, and Zillow was trying to merge into the Open Door model. And I think this is the thing. What do I keep telling you? I keep saying Zillow is heading down the CarMax model, where they are not into the real estate world. They're in there to sell leads, but they're also like moving into this financing space. So imagine if you like CarMax, they buy the car at a discount and then their whole goal is to make money on the loans. So if Zillow is partnering with Open Door and they're buying these houses at a discount and all they're going to do is turn around and sell them to people to get them into their loan product, that's where they're going to make their money for 30 years, or say 10 years because the average loan holder holds for 10 years.
Dude, I saw this the other day. I'm gonna show you. People listening won't be able to see it, but we'll go through it. People on pot, we're sharing these on YouTube as well, guys. So you can check it out there. So I took these pictures, screenshot, and put in my phone. Look at all these Zillow jobs, dude, that are paying buco bucks. Sales account manager, business advisor, sales executive, premier agent, And the premier agent for $23 to $40 an hour with free medical, vision, dental, 401k. Like, dude, if I'm a struggling agent, why, dude, and there's, okay, we'll go through all these. Hold on.
That's what's going
There's
to
like
happen.
10 fucking pages of these, dude.
You're going to start seeing this happen. It's like the Redfin model where they outsource agents and they do have internal agents. But this is exactly what happened. Like when you heard Zillow saying this a year ago,
Yeah.
is that Zillow was going to open their own. Zillow keeps saying they make all their money in the flex model, but now you're seeing them hiring salaried agents.
Yep.
With this whole buyer world, that's exactly what's going to happen. And this is why I told you they're moving to this CarMax model. No one's announced this. No one said this. This is just what I see with the writing is on the wall. Because I think what they're going to do is they're going to start paying salaried agents and get them into, like, say, work with our agents for free. Well, the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you use the Zillow loan. Dude, if I was a lending company right now, dude, I would be licking my chops saying, like, I need to merge with a company like Zillow or EXP and start running the same exact play. If they gave us revenue share model on loans through EXP, dude, oh my gosh, we would be freaking so rich.
Yeah, because look at right here. If they don't merge, they're going to lose their mortgage loan. A mortgage loan underwriter for Zillow right now, $42 to $66 an hour. Now, of course, you've got your market leaders and they're killing it, but not everybody's a market leader. So like people doing a couple loan, and this is also hitting the heartstrings of the people that like don't like to derive business. The business just comes to them and they can work, you know what I mean? And then this one's kind of scary. Look at that. Senior director product for agent AI up to
Mhm.
$400,000 a year. What do you think they're going to be doing with like, and then you got, dude, senior director, marketplace product, $400,000 a year jobs through
So
Zillow.
I went to dinner last night with this lawyer, and he was telling me that they have a AI tool inside of, there's two in the lawyer world. One's called Lexus, and I can't remember what the other one's name is. But he said that he'll ask his clients, like, are you okay with us using the AI tool?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, what does it do? And he's like, it saves us, like, it cuts our hours back and like down to 10% of like our normal billing hours. And I said, he goes, it doesn't replace the person, but it replaces a lot of what I do, like in the research phase. And so he's like, I can tell like the wording is sometimes wrong or the case studies are wrong when you reference cases and things like that. So you still have to like cross it up with uh, some old school tactics. But we don't even know right now how far AI is ahead. And this is why I don't really spend a lot of time focusing on like AI stuff, because all the stuff that all the agents and all these like ambulance chasing AI companies are doing is stuff that's going to be extinct in the next 2 months. It's moving at the speed of light, and it's AI is just so far more advanced than what we're even seeing. And so
Yeah.
when I like read Ben Bites and things like that, if anyone doesn't know, Ben Bites is like a recap of the tech world that's sent out daily. Dude, the stuff that they're talking about and the stuff that they're already doing is so far more advanced than what we're even seeing. And now, like, even you've seen the evolution of AI in the last 12 months, it's gone crazy, but what the agents are getting now. So when you say like, what is that for? The sky's the limit. And I always say, if you want the most vanilla outcome in the world, you can use AI to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And if you were to sell your house using a robot, you're going to get the most vanilla sale and you're
Yep.
going to get the most vanilla buy.
I
And
was
if you
going to
want to,
say that.
so yeah, sell your house through an AI system and see exactly what happens. You might as well just go to the, you know,
Yeah.
open door program.
Yeah. I don't fear the AI in that sense as much. Because what we've talked about in the past few podcasts, and we've actually had like what 5 emails now of people wanting to join us at EXP because of what you are teaching and preaching, like how to successfully grow, but how to do a buyer consultation, seller consultation, and that's what they're wanting, right? And so we, mastermind with these agents that do like hundreds of deals. In fact, one of them has 100 deals pending in 1 month, and they're not focused on AI or anything. It's back to the like do the same things over and over and grow that way and being the best real estate agent. So I don't fear the AI at all. I've always looked at Zillow as like, dude, they do their thing, we do our thing, whatever. But it is pretty interesting to see where they're plugging their money because this next one, I still got like 7 more pictures. Look at that. It's a like director of product management of quote to cash technology, paying upwards of $400,000 a year. So that's like the buy your house program, right?
What was the job title?
Senior director, product management, quote to cash technology. So they're going to start providing probably on their website like a quote to just take a cash offer.
It's either that or oh, let's look it up. What does quote to cash mean? It might be a lending term.
Yep.
Quote to cash is an end-to-end business process that covers the entire sales life cycle, from generating a quote for a customer to receiving the payment. So basically, they're just trying to figure out how much the acquisition cost is per probably sell and per loan, um, and how to get those numbers better. Going back to what you were saying, like people hating on Zillow and whatnot, or like doing things like they're just doing traditional stuff. I literally want to keep saying this term, but this is like finally a good spot to say it. Is there's like moments in life that like I call it gas and brake moments.
Hmm.
I heard this coach say it one time. And is this thought providing gas to my business, or is it putting the brakes on my business? So when you're hating on these people or focused on, what Zillow's doing or what
Yeah.
your competition's doing, like I get these messages from agents all the time.
Hmm.
Did you see so and so? Did you see this video so and so posted? Did you see the? I'm like, what? Who cares? Who cares? Focus on yourself.
Yep.
Like what's
Yeah.
that old saying? I'm too busy to see if someone else's grass is greener, or I'm too busy watering my own lawn to see if someone else's grass is greener.
Yeah. We get that obviously in the YouTube forefront. Man, I get emails every day. This person, there's someone already in my market. And people ask me all the time, like, about my video structure and this and that. And did you see it? Hey, you got a competitor, they're doing this and that. I'm like, dude, I literally, and this is the honest to God, I don't watch anybody's videos. I want to be as original as I possibly can. Like I'm going to literally be as original. Everything that comes out of my mouth, I have never heard nobody has heard before. And so that's how I'm staying with it. But
It's
I get
it's
it, dude. And the Zillow thing, I've always been like, dude, I kind of respect their game. And I'm like, dude, all these agents, I get it all the time. You probably do too. Hey, I want to build my own website, put my IDX in there. It's like 10 grand. I'm like, why, dude? People don't realize you got to drive traffic to there. Like me and you didn't know this at the beginning until like we really got heavy into the SEO, and now we drive a lot of traffic. But at the end of the day, I look at properties all the time. I'm going to Zillow. It's the easiest
Mhm.
fucking black. You send me listings every day from realtor.com or
No,
whatever it is. Or no,
Redfin.
Redfin. And I'm like, I fucking hate Redfin, but um it is funny. Those tools are amazing in what they do. But here, these ones, there's like
It's so
20
funny you say that
listings.
because it's funny that you say that because people send me listings from realtor.com. I'm like, I hate the realtor.com
I
platform or
know.
homes.com. I'm like, please just send it to me in Redfin. I say that to every client too. I'm like, please just send it to me in Redfin.
It's funny because if I
Um,
don't get it, I like Zillow. And I know how to use it. People are like, you use PicMonkey for your thumbnails. That's the worst. I'm like, I just know how to fucking use it, man. But do you
I
think
remember
the,
when
oh,
I
go
remember
ahead.
when I remember when Redfin came out, and I thought to myself, this is a Zillow knockoff, but I liked the name and I could never figure out what Redfin meant. And it reminded me of just sharks in the ocean. But one thing I want to note or add in there when you're talking about agents calling or saying, "Oh, did you see so and so?"
Mm-hmm.
is now that enough time has evolved, it's like everything that we've always said about YouTube is now like the cream is rising to the top with YouTube even saying it because they just started the whole A/B split testing on the YouTube platform, and
Mm-hmm.
it says now that it will default the winning thumbnail to the video with the longest average view duration.
Yep.
And so it's telling you that it's what it's exactly looking for. And then someone also posted in the group, I haven't approved the post yet, but they said they were talking about Google's Gemini AI tool and how much better it is than ChatGPT, which I don't, uh, it's very biased AI tool based, and there's just a lot of controversy about Gemini. But what it says in there on YouTube is he plugged in this agent made these his channel is in one market. He asked us, should I make my playlists from another market on a separate channel?
Mm.
All these things. And we were like, no, you should create a secondary channel. So then he put it on his channel and then he asked Gemini does this work for my audience? And Gemini is owned by Google, which is owned by YouTube. And it even said, this is confusing your core audience. You should not be putting this on your channel, all the things. So in my mind, I was like, everything that we've been preaching now for the last 5 years You can go into Google's own AI system, ask every question that we've talked about, and it is the exact same message.
Yep. But the thing is, we fucking figured it out by doing it wrong.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think that's why people value our perspectives. Like I just got off that hour coaching call with all those agents, and like everything they asked me is like a 20-minute answer because of all the mistakes I've made. And that's what one person was saying is like, dude, I just love like you don't only answer it, but you tell us like 17 mistakes you made and how you got to it, you know? And yeah, it's that marketing thing, dude. It's I was actually teaching them today, goes into like real estate too, because I think when you start in real estate, you just like shotgun approach. Anybody who wants to buy or sell, I'm working with them. And then you hear from the seasoned agents, the killers are like, no, no, no. If they're a bad client, I fire them. And I'm like, you know what I mean? And you don't get that early on, but your message, your marketing, we worked on it today too. I was like, dude, everything you do, make the best, longest video for those keywords. You're gonna win. Like average view duration, speak to your audience, and you're gonna win. You know, at the end of the day,
I heard someone use this terminology the other day called blueberries, and he said when you were talking to back in the day to the Indians would talk.
bluebies.
He said the Indians when they went out to gather and hunt, they never talked about. They always said, "Hey, the blueberries are 20 clicks to the east." They didn't say there's going to be a waterfall. You got to fight a wolf. All these things. It was just like it's 20 miles, and that's where the best blueberries are. And a lot of times what you just said is people get talk about all the things to avoid, and you
Yeah,
get really hung up in all these. Tell me where the honey hole is. Tell me how to do it, and let's take action.
yeah, yep. Um, I got a few more subjects. One of those other postings I got off of it. Now, I do see they had like 6 pages of photography for showing time, and it's in every major city.
Yeah, so Showing Time just rolled out their whole because they bought Showing Time. So now Showing Time is generating leads as well. I am not a huge fan, and it's so funny. It is so funny because right when Showing Time got bought by Zillow, what did all the MLSs do? They pulled their Showing Time feature and they swapped over to a new one. So whether it was Broker Bay
Oh,
or
I was just looking at mine because I'm selling my listing, my flip, and it's showing smart is
okay,
what
yeah,
Aussie's using here. I thought it was showing time, but it's not.
yeah. So there's so many different ones, and then they pulled it. And then in Portland, yeah, we have a line showing. They swapped out. So then Zillow came out and said the MLS has a monopoly on the showing tools. Like they can't just remove our showing tool because they want. I'm like, they own the company. They can do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
And now Zillow is getting a taste of their own medicine, and they're all upset. So actually, the MLS added showing time back in. So now you can choose either one, which is dumb because if you activate both, guess what happens? If somebody schedules one in showing time at 9 a.m., it doesn't block it out in a line showing at 9 a.m. So we've had like two agents show up at the same time. So we only allow the one that is not Zillow owned showing time. We don't allow showing time.
Where do you like? I guess two-part question. In like 3 years, 5 years, where do you see those like homes.coms, Zillows? What space are they going to enter into?
Well, everyone is, it's so funny because if you look back in the history of real estate, they always say the next thing is going to eliminate the real estate agent. There is a huge demand for real estate agents,
Yep.
like first and foremost. So I know that there's companies out there that have consistently tried to set up this whole Uber model of you're at this house and you're on your Zillow app and you click the button and then somebody will come there and show it in 5 minutes, whatever. Maybe there's 5 agents in that area that all are fighting over that lead.
Yeah.
I mean, but now with the buyer broker agreement and the buyer's agent commission, being removed, I just don't see that ever coming to fruition. I know that's something that they would all love to get to. I'll be honest, I really think that the Zillow and this new CarMax style model is the only way you would ever see a salaried agent thing ever work. And I think it's a brilliant idea. I really hope there's other brokerages out there paying attention to this. Do I think it's going to revolutionize real estate? No, because right now Redfin already has similar offerings and they have less than a 1% market share. So yeah,
So
I
what
just
you're
don't.
saying is the CarMax. So why do you think it's brilliant? And I guess if you were running a Zillow or a broker, like what would you do?
Well, because I think it's brilliant on their front because what they're going to do is they're going to offer free buyer's agents to their consumers as long as you use their loan product. And if you don't, then you have to pay the buyer's agent. So I think in real estate, when you sell a house as an agent, you're making a commission on one transaction, right? And
Right.
say you own the title company, but on the loan, you're making money every single month. And when you look at how much your house is, say it's $1 million house, by the time you pay that loan off, you're paying like $10 million, right? So you're
Mm-hmm.
making way more money on the loan than you'll ever make on the house.
Mm.
So I just think selling a loan product, and what do I always tell you? I'm like, the real money's in loaning money. Um, so that's why I said that I like the CarMax model for the real estate industry. Personally, do I like it? I think it's a threat, but I do think for a business idea, I think it's a great idea. And that's why I said I hope lending companies are paying attention and I hope real estate companies are paying attention.
Did you ever, as like a team lead, pay hourly to, and would that ever work?
Well, it's illegal to pay a W-2 contract or 1099 contractor an hourly wage.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's a tax violation.
So you can pay per door, you can pay per showing, you can pay it that way, but not.
You can pay them hourly. You just can't put them on like a salary.
Oh, oh, oh. I
Yeah.
got you,
Yeah. Because if you put them on a salary, then they have to be a W-2 employee.
dude. That's. I do feel like, I mean, yeah, these companies aren't going to go away, but I think the point to get across is, like, I think the good agents are going to continue to stay there.
Well, because you've never heard every brokerage always says you'll go broke paying a salaried agent. Well, this idea that they're doing, in my opinion, um, you've sold a car to CarMax, right?
I can't remember. I know. I don't think I ended up doing it. I know I was on there left and right trying to buy one, but I don't think I.
Okay, if you've never sold a car to CarMax, you would never understand the experience. But if they replicated that model in real estate, the agents have no commission tied to them. They're just paid a nice salary and it's all about customer service. So if you had a high level experience and you got the best situation ever and
Yeah.
you felt like you were getting a great deal, which CarMax, you feel like you're getting a great deal, and I asked the guy, I said, you're paying me more than what I'm getting offers on the private market for my car. How does this work? He said, we make all of our money in the lending. We don't make any money on the car buys and sell or on the purchase and the sell if they're are on the purchase. And on the sell,
Uh,
we make it on the loans. So they're like 7-year loan. That's where we're making all of our money. So that's what I
I
keep saying
got you.
about that. So when you go into CarMax, it takes you 60 minutes from the time that you check in till the time that you walk out and you have your check in hand and they don't negotiate with you at all. Whatever the price is, and they verify that you gave them the accurate data.
Yep.
Here's your check. I literally got a loan, a quote on my car, and it was 19,000 bucks. In my mind, I went there saying I will take 14 when I
Yeah.
leave. The guy said, "You got our quote? Yep, you're good with it. Yep, okay. As long as everything checks out." He goes out there, sends the pictures to the HQ. HQ says looks great. It was like a virtual appraisal. Gives me the check back right there. I was like, "Holy crap!" And then that's what like inspired me to start asking all the questions. And they said there's 300 things. I think it was either 300 or 150 things that we change on the car at our own. So we have our own in-house mechanic. Like if it's the tires are out, like worn out, we put new tires on. We charge the AC system. Like they don't care about any of that stuff because they're going to put it on the car anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I traded in my car for 19, I saw it back on their website for 28. And then they said that they were going to, they'd make all their money on the loan.
Yeah. So they are going to make a little bit here. So going back to the real estate, okay. Not only can you make that model work, but or to make that model work, now you got, but you have to have good agents. You got to make the experience good. So the reason I
Well,
didn't
when you,
remember the CarMax thing is because I remember I was getting all those quotes, and I think we
yeah.
ended up selling it locally, and we got a couple thousand. But like the experience was amazing. I think I did sell my truck through it though when I
So if an
bought
agent,
the
so if
van.
I was a starting out agent, if I got my license and someone said, "Hey Jesse, I'm going to guarantee you're going to make $80,000 in real estate your first year,
Mm-hmm.
and all I need you to do is show clients and put on a smile and provide the best client
Right.
experience service ever, and it doesn't matter how many houses you sell. We're going to give you so many leads and people wanting to buy. I just need you to make them feel good." Dude, I would have been doing backflips for that.
Right. Me too.
So when you ask who would do that, I think agents will be lined up in droves.
Yeah, and you say a new agent, but dude, I bet you there's almost more seasoned agents that would jump on that before the new agents, because
Oh, yeah.
that's the ones. Joe, I was telling you the other day, he's like, dude, the agents that are joining me, my team in Houston, are like the 100K a year producers. They're great agents, but they are not doing as well right now. And so they are still closing some of their business, but they're closing. Now they get these other YouTube leads and they're like, dude, these are the gold mine. This is the greatest ever. But they can continue to, live that 100 to 150K lifestyle.
Well, exactly. And generating the lead is very stressful. And you get to the point, I just think of myself, I said, okay, if I want to make 80 grand a year, I'm gonna have to generate, you know, let's just say that's 8 closings at 10,000 a piece. If I had to do 16 closings at 50% or 32 at 25, but I didn't have to do anything, no lead generation, no transaction coordination, no nothing. I'm literally just showing clients homes, writing offers, negotiating the terms and the repairs and things like that. I would, it would probably be a very good life. And I'm sure they offer full benefits and all the
The
things.
bennies, that's going to be, yeah, and those Zillow postings, dude, it's medical, dental, health.
Well, back in our day, early days, getting full benefits, remember we didn't have to pay for anything.
Right.
And then it was the most amazing insurance ever. Well, then it changed to being like kind of crappy insurance. And then they like alpha put it in part of your package where they said, oh, these benefits are worth $10,000 a year.
Hmm.
Like I remember that whole transitional period, dude. It was the biggest joke in the history of mankind. And now insurance just sucks. So if you do provide good insurance, it's very valuable.
Yeah. And that's like, dude, that's the grip. Me coming blue collar, like, dude, I remember, oh, I just can't leave for that job. Yeah, I got full benefits here. A
Yep.
guy told me once, he goes, "You make enough money, doesn't fucking matter what you bet." And I'm like, oh, I don't know, dude. The mindset is getting that paid for,
Yep.
dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Benefit, especially if you're heading to your retired years and that, you want those. I mean, obviously you get free Medicaid, and Medicare when you hit a certain age anyways, but who knows how good that is.
Well, we didn't get to any of this stuff. I want to do a podcast on like kind of the scalability. I mean, I had a lot of questions on that today in our coaching. But again, in the next few years, who do you see becoming, who do you see being the actual players? Like, we're going to need real estate agents. They're going to have to be better than ever, but technology companies, that kind of thing, who's going to be the
The,
leading?
the thing I always go back to is I always go back to if the model is really disruptible, why doesn't it happen on the listing side? Because
Hmm.
the listing side, the buying side is moving towards the listing side style. So I don't know how much it's really going to change. Um, do I think it'll professionalize real estate? I mean, the listing side to me is typically 99% pretty professional for the most part. And I would say probably the worst experiences I have with listings are with Redfin agents. So do I think that these technology companies are going to come out of the gate and dominate the scene? No, because I don't, their experience is not that great. If it's hard to say, like the next 6 months, and we're heading into August here in the next couple months, there's going to be a big shakeout and we'll kind of see how the cards fall. And there'll be a couple ways of doing this will rise to the top. And you can't really say anything until that happens. You
Does
can have every
does
huh?
Zillow have to like, sorry, does Zillow have to like uh disclose how much commissions they get paid? Like, is that where there's going to be a mix up, because agents are not allowed to market commissions? That's going to be a mess, agent to agent. Can
What do you mean you can't market? Remember, they're adding a concession field
a
to the listing.
concession, that's true, but do you feel like a company like Zillow is the one where they're positioning themselves to like, hey, you don't have to pay us commissions, but then again, you use their loan programs and stuff. That could be something where,
Well, that's why you have to read the fine print. And that's why I said to me, it's kind of they do their whole 1 week free work with us program, but it's you have to use their lender and there's just a lot of parameters. So I think people will, man, it's you have to put your mind in yourself in the shoes of the borrower. And as a borrower, I mean, I used to tell this to the lenders all the time because let's just say you're working with three lenders and one is offering 6%, one's offering 6.5%, and one's offering 7%. And your guy at 7 says his only benefit is that he provides amazing client service.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm like, but the guy at 6 is going to still close the deal. Like, I don't care how crap, like, that's a lot of money, right?
Yep.
So if you're telling me like all worlds are created equally, it's, and you just don't know as a consumer, right? So, a lot of people try to put a lot of like emphasis on value add with saying like, I'm going to close this deal. It's going to be a good experience. As a borrower, you don't know what I want. I want someone that has good communication. I want someone that makes it as seamless and someone that just tells me exactly what to give them. And I just got this loan and I told our lender, I said, this was way too easy. Something is definitely wrong. And we closed the deal and then they sold the loan to another company. Well, they only put me through 75% of the underwriting before they brokered the deal out. So after the deal closed, I did a couple of things that were maybe questionable, and they came back up in the second phase of the underwriting when they brokered the deal out, and I didn't know that, and I wasn't told,
Hmm.
and it just turned into kind of a little bit of a mess. And so that's what I'm talking about. I've had a lot of bad experiences with some lenders, and another example is I bought this new construction house one time and it was a jumbo loan. And they said, your tax rate's going to be based on the millage report. And I said, well, the law in this county is that the taxes can't be 3% higher or lower than your neighbor's house. And I said, the neighbor has been around for 2 years and their taxes are at like 5 grand a year. And they wanted to charge me $15,000 a year. So that the agent, the lender that was on that deal was a fool, and they didn't know how to come like talk to their own company about it. So I ended up waiving the escrow taxes, and I just paid them cash out of pocket. So that's what I'm saying. Like the consumer is the one that's going to get the vote at the end of the day, but sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
don't know any better. And sometimes they're just looking for the cheapest option. And so when you tell me, well, it's because I provide client service, and this is actually what I was saying yesterday when I forgot what I was saying, is it drives me crazy when people say, well, my client service is so great. My value adds are so great, but you're literally doing the exact same thing everyone else did.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't tell me that your great customer service is worth another $500,000.
That's where I'm like, dude, everybody says their client service and their marketing is the best, but you and a couple of those people I keep referencing, you have this ability to like sit in front of somebody, like you look into their eyes and and you know exactly how to combat anything they say, but you just believe it. After hearing a little bit of like your guys' listing presentations, buyer presentations, you're like, dude, I'm in the best hands possible. And typically, like, dude, your confidence comes out. Do you remember that agent that we sold my sister-in-law's house in Salt Lake? He was another one of those that was super sharp. I need to reach out to him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
dude, the most confident human I'd ever seen. Like, he knew that neighborhood, he knew the stat. He's like, we watch, I'm gonna set the fucking record in that neighborhood. I already know it, dude. And I was just like, real. And my sister-in-law and brother-in-law were like, dude, he is the best. This dude. I mean,
And
he's
they
like,
want
yeah.
what company did they want to sell their house to? I remember that.
I don't remember. It was a
It was
cheap,
like
like
it
four
was the
percent
open doors
listing.
competition.
Yeah, it was something super cheap. And I was like, dude, I said, take this meeting. I've talked to this dude, and he reminded me of you, Jesse, you. And they took one meeting with him. They're like, yeah, he kind of showed up. He's like 6'7". He's wearing like jean shorts and stuff. But the dude was so knowledgeable. He sold their house for the record. They ended up making like $120,000 more than they were gonna list with that other company. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, dude, these good agents, that shit shines through. And I mean, your name will never be as big as Zillow or Redfin, but your business is gonna grow every year. And the people that surround themselves with people like you and that Nick, like they grow too, man. I think that's
That
why I
company
want to
might have
start
that
this.
in, that instant offer company that they were looking at selling their house to went out of business.
Yeah.
Um, they were huge too. And I remember I made that video on 72 sold. I think they're just shutting their doors too. It's so easy to get capital when the market's crazy and the stock market's crazy. But that's like when these markets get the way they are today, is it really feathers out the bad actors in that space. And I remember I got a lot of crap on my YouTube channel for calling out 72 sold, but they had a lot of bad business practices.
Mm-hmm.
And they're headquartered out of Phoenix. And then they merged with Keller Williams, and everyone thought I was just being a hater. But I'm like, I'd firsthand experience with those knuckleheads.
Yeah, dude. the good people are like having record time, and I never believed that, like, because I kind of got into it right before COVID, and then was heavy during COVID, and it was like anybody could sell. And that was what you always heard is like, oh yeah, wait till the market shifts and the good will rise. And you just like you don't believe it until now. Now you see it. Like,
Well, if you look at the uh, top agents,
yeah,
even when I first started
they're
and I
doing
started
crazy
interviewing
volume. Yeah.
all the brokerages, when I was interviewing all the teams, I asked them all, I said, what did you do when the market crashed? And they'd say, oh, I shifted my model. I focused on for sale by owners and bank owned properties, not for sale by owners, sorry, foreclosures and short sales. And then they said, I sold hundreds of homes through that time. And then I just remarketed to those buyers. And then now my business is, they're a top 20 team.
Hmm.
Then I'd interview people and I'd say, how was your business through the crash? They're like, oh, I barely survived,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah. Like I almost went bankrupt, all the things. And then their business was really tough. Like their business was low, like small business. And you could see the direct correlation. So when Glenn Sanford, the CEO of EXP says, when the market slows down, we take lots of market share. And then when the market picks up, we take off. It's the same thing when I was in the brewing industry, is when the market went slow, they'd say, let's focus on distribution. So that way, when the market picks back up, you have all of your distribution points set. So then when the floodgate opens, you have so many more channels of marketing going out that it just like floods the market. You have so much opportunity. And
Why
that's
is
the
that
time like,
so hard though? Like,
because no one believes it.
yeah,
And you
that's
until you,
what I mean.
until you've been through a cycle, you just don't feel it. And it's very interesting because then you also get in this trap of thinking, oh, this is too easy or this isn't going to work or I got lucky. It's not luck when it keeps happening over and over and over. And they say like luck is when opportunity meets, preparation.
Hmm.
And I see it now, especially in the post closing marketing.
Yeah.
Been going for so long now and people constantly calling. And it's real
Yeah.
weird. That's what I was saying a couple episodes ago where, I feel bad for the people that bought during COVID, like bought at the peak and it's 2 years now and their house hasn't grown in value and they're selling it for $50,000 below what they bought it for. And, didn't do any repairs and they didn't, they haven't fixed anything. And now they're in a tough situation.
They're the ones selling, but the ones sitting on the 2%
Oh,
inty rates, they're holding.
I saw the greatest post the other day. It said, whoever buying this market's an idiot with interest rates being as high as they are. They're stupid. And in my own mind, I always think about this saying where it says, when people are selling, you buy, or when people are selling, you're buying, or I can't remember yet. When everyone's selling, you're buying. When everyone's buying, you're selling. Like you're doing the opposite of what the market's everyone's doing. And
Yeah.
I do think that's when you come into a lot of opportunities. And I do think that this is an opportunistic market. I'm seeing houses pop up on the foreclosure list, not going through foreclosure, but good houses popping up on the foreclosure list now. And I don't think it's going to happen in a flood. We've talked about this before, but I do think there are, as long as people put themselves in situations to prepare for these times, like this is when the people that have all the money make the most money, is when there's opportunities that present themselves.
Yeah. And you see it. I
Because
think that's,
there's people out there hurting, dude. It just
I
isn't,
know.
it hasn't reared its head. And it's a secret. That guy I was telling you I follow on Instagram, the Colin guy.
Yeah.
He was saying that the silver wave is upon us of these people that own all these businesses. And I listened to him call this one guy. The guy said he netted $70,000 off of his business and he bought it right on the spot for like 150. But I was like, man, there's a lot of these businesses out there where these people have no exit. They don't know what to do. Um, is it in massive form? I don't know, but I know it's coming.
And do you mean like just general businesses or like older real estate agents who've got
Oh, oh, dude, real estate agents just want to quit when they're done. They don't want to have anything think about it. Like there's the book out there called The Golden Handoff by Nick Crowder that
yeah,
talks about how to sell your real estate business. But I feel that if you're a successful agent, you had a system in place to exit out, and then you'll see these older agents partner up with a younger agent, and they'll basically kind of like do a transition off.
yeah.
So I find it very interesting when there's older agents that are still out there that can barely, figure out how to work their iPhone and they're still selling real estate because that's like all of their income. I had a dude that was sending me pictures of his computer screen because he couldn't figure out how to send a contract.
Stop, dude.
I'm serious. I was like, "Are
I
you gonna
hate to
sign the
laugh,
screen?
but dude,
Are you gonna sign the screen too?"
oh my God, dude, that is next level. Unreal.
I had
Actually,
a guy call me the other day actually who said, he said, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna text you." It was actually in this house that the sellers had painted. The neighbors called because they were asking for a reference to the painter, and then I said, "You got to turn in the HOA doc for paint approval." And I said, "I'll text it over to you because I just got it to the sellers." And he said, "I don't know how to work technology and I don't know how to print anything either." So he said, "Can you just let the president of the HOA know to mail me the copy of the form?" I said, "I'll just drop one off at your doorstep when I come by." Because I was like, "Man, maybe this will be a client."
dude, that well, the I got an email from our boy Larry. I love listening to his little market update thingy, whatever. But it does say one rate cut is on the horizon, so that could make for a little spicier of a market.
Oh,
I googled it. I
I'd
think we
love to talk
talked.
about this for a minute too.
Let's save it for the next episode because I think that's going to be like a big topic of discussion.
Well, let me
It's
leave you on a cliffhanger for that then, at least before we leave.
yeah,
Um, the reason I say that is because the one question people keep asking is because I've been saying that historically there's always a 0.5% drop in rates before the election. The
yep. You
Fed has been
always talk
announcing that
about that.
the Fed has been announcing a 0.5% cut or a cut in June. It's June 19th. But when people heard that we were in like the sixes, we're at six. So they were thinking that we're going to be at 5.5 or
But
so.
yeah,
But I've been saying since day one it's going to be a 0.5% off the current rate. So it could be up in the sevens and then come back down to like 6.5, 6.75. So is it really going to be a good deal? So that's
no.
where you have to think. People's mindset, you have to put yourself. So if they raise the rates up high and then drop it down, is that good? Like I just heard that Biden's going to start draining all the oil reserves to bring the gas prices down for the summer too.
Oh, really? So then everybody thinks he's a fucking hero, but I mean,
Well, the
huh?
first election, I don't know when this episode's coming out, but the first debate is actually on the 27th, between him and Trump. And they say that it's like Biden's last interview to see if he gets the nod to be the nominee. And here's the crazy thing. Everyone thinks if he got pulled out, it would be the craziest thing in history. It's actually happened a couple times before that the sitting president didn't become the nominee for their second term. So
Really?
it's not unheard of. Yeah.
Oh, dude. I know you want to be a politician, so we got to do a politician podcast too, man. You love that. I was Googling the reason I brought up interest rates and that he sent rate cuts. And then like I just typed in real estate market news in Google, and the first thing that pops up is interest rates are the number one killer of American real estate markets right now. What a
100%.
title. It's
I
on
believe
Fox
it.
Business, but it's like, what do you like? It's the number one killer to the market. And it's
Yeah,
like
because people aren't buying.
people aren't buying, but then like um I don't know, it's just funny the headlines, you know. And on that, like, because they're always trying to get the clickbait. I wanted to post this video. I'm trying to look. There's some storms coming in here, like there maybe tropical storm coming into Southeast Texas. So I'm like trying to find news on it, and this fucking news anchor is down at Galveston, like a complete just homer, dude. He's got his wind jacket and rain jacket, and he's like, and the wind just won't stop down here. And he goes and he interviews this kid who's like 15. He's like, "What are you doing down here? Aren't you scared of the water?" He's like, "No, not really. It's just a good way. I'm just gonna go out and do some boogie boarding." But it's torrential out there. He's like, "No, I mean we've seen it way worse than this. This is usually when it's the best." Then he interviews this other guy and he's like, "You're really gonna go out in that water?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, this is like the best time to come down here. I'm just a local." He's drinking a Miller Lite, like he's getting in it. This news anchor is pressing to get this like
Oh yeah.
negative reaction, awful, and he just couldn't. Everybody was like, "Yeah, dude, it's good." They showed a video clip of like a dad and like a 6-year-old out there boogie boarding, and not saying it's safe or not. It was pretty rough waters, but like, man, this. how do we combat these fucking negative stories and headlines and the doom and gloom YouTubers, and that
Well,
is,
it's impossible almost to combat it. And
yeah.
the it's all
Hopefully we're
for the
doing it with this
clicks.
podcast.
It's all for the clicks. And typically if you read beyond the headline, I think there's a podcast out there too called Beyond the Headline. And remember when I used to do the doom and gloom podcast, I'd always say if you once you get past the first paragraph, it's all like the real information is in there.
Yep.
And it really even say that in there too. Like this is the reality, it says what the reality is. It's
Yep.
just everyone loves those headline
Yep.
clickbaits. So yeah,
Well,
it's crazy.
it does not seem like it is clickbait that there may be some interest rates and some rate cuts and um that kind of stuff. So I think maybe the next episode will break into the interest rates, what it truly means. Is it a save all for all agents will now be closing deals like crazy, or is the washout continue, and what you have to do to prepare for this.
Yeah, I would love to see rates come down a little bit. I think it'd stimulate a lot of things. Even if it was just down into the high fives, it would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
But if you're one of those agents that says date the rate, marry the house, I'm gonna be very uh angry at you.
yeah.
I think all those stupid terms are stupid. They yeah, there's a lot of dumb stuff out there. And actually that's the one thing that I love that I heard recently when they said, we know that the ceiling of real estate is 4 million sales a year. We know that the floor is 4 million, the ceiling's about 7.2. Life events trigger sales, not interest rates. Interest rates will exacerbate things one way or the other, but isn't the core reason. So it could interest rates give us a 3 million house shift or double the market? Yes. But
Hmm.
there's always still going to be 4 million homes sold no matter what the rates are. And if you're also one of those agents that say, well, the rate was 18% in 1982, well, yes, house prices are also $60,000.
That's my biggest pet peeve. You've heard me talk about that all the time because that was like the number one combat that real estate agents had. And if you said that, don't worry, guys, you're okay. But like in my
No,
opinion,
you're
doing
not.
I know because I was the first one to tell you, I'm like, this is dumb to be saying this because you're talking to an audience from 1980. I wasn't even born yet in 82. You know what I mean? So like the last thing I fucking care about is what happened in 82. I'm worried about what happened right now. And so the last 3 years when I could buy a house, it was 2 to 3%. That's all I know. You know what I mean? So that's like the people that we're talking to. So they don't care about the post messaging stuff. And so those, I think those are the agents that are running a little bit more scarce. And then the ones who are like growing during times like this, they're putting their head down. They're focusing on like really being the best agent of all time. I mean, listening to you talk and your knowledge of things, this is the confidence you spew out to your clients. That's why you close so many deals, that's why you got so many listings, 24 deals your first year. Like there's reasons for this stuff. So
What,
that's
what,
nice.
what did you say at the beginning of that comment?
I don't remember.
Um,
What do you mean?
like when you were just talking, what did you say at the very beginning?
That the whole interest rate thing? Like
Yeah. No,
oh,
just
that,
like when you just were talking like 2 seconds ago.
of why
What was
the,
your thought that you were just saying?
oh, so my thought, no, my thought was just that people saying the rates, interest rates in like 1982 were
Oh,
18%. It's
okay.
completely irrelevant. And we're marketing that on Facebook and Instagram. And so remember I called you and I'm like, or I think I got mad at some of our clients because that's all I kept seeing. It was like the popular thing. And I have this unique ability to understand like in marketing who we're talking to directly. And you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok talking about how the interest rates used to be 18%, but the audience watching that is 30 years old, like they weren't even born yet, and they don't care. Like so they're gonna just swipe past that, right?
Well, I want to know. Actually, the reason I asked you to repeat that thought because I was going to trigger my thought of what I was going to say, and this
Yeah.
is what I wanted to remember is with the TikTok ban coming up on January 1st. What is everyone going to do? That's like building their business and going all in on TikTok.
Well, were they really building a business out of it?
No, but they think
Let's
they
start
were.
there.
Well,
But
no, they were attracting the 14-year-old generation that's going to be
yeah,
home buyers in the next 4 to 20 years.
yeah. And we don't shit on nobody, dude. Show us the receipts, show us your closings on TikTok, and I'll blow you up. But that's just been not the thing. It's always just been a grind, leveraging actually technology that's been out there for a super long time where people obviously are. And then, like you mentioned, we're very, very, very good now with the systems, not me, but you and what you've trained our agents on the experience, the experience that our clients have, and then the post closing systems you have. So that's why we continue to scale. And then people that the majority of the people that are joining us, EXP partnering with us, like I just got these emails that literally says that I want to scale and grow. I've been stuck at this level, or I'm having my worst year. I know I need to get my systems better. I know I need to be better with these clients. That's who's reaching out. So if you guys want to, it's easier. Info at jacksonwilkey.com. It's Wilkey. It's everywhere. You guys find it. And then if you have questions for JDAO, dude, hit me up on the email, info at jacksonwilkey.com, and we'll bring it up here on the old potty pod. So, and if you guys would go to like our free Facebook group, Channel Junkies, and just say, hey, I'm listening to the new season and I hate it, or hey, I love it, it's fire. Let everybody know what your thoughts is there, so we can get more people listening. So that's all we ask for, homies. So until the
See ya.
next one, we'll catch you.
We'll catch you later.